Good morning. That's a sign we will be starting today. So, so, so as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. As you can see, the car is facing to the front. I'm going to start with the rear suspension because the car obviously needs to be jacked up. So that when the rear is done, I can turn it again around, face it to the front, and then when I do the front suspension, the car will already be in the sky, and then I can do the turbo and whatever else is needed in front. So we'll see, no? So let's do a cold start. Oops, sorry. Alright, now that the car is turned around, it's still a bit early, as you can see. I really want to get done with this car so I can actually take it for a feel, not for a test drive, for a feel. Yeah, 2.4 turbo, my guy. Look at that thing. Okay, it's a bit far now. Camera's on wide angle. But anyway, let me just pull my bucket in quickly. Yeah, catch up with you guys in a bit. Okay, so the car is now facing, the rear is facing inside, or should I say the car's rear is where it needs to be. So I'm gonna make the wheels loose, jack up, take it off, and then we can start removing the rear control arms and to replace the bushes. So let's get into it. Okay, I got all the bushes laid out. So this is the stabilizer bar bush. This is the trailing arm bush. One side, other side. The rear strut mount inner. This is strut mount outer. Lower control arm bushes. And then upper control arm bushes. So there we go. It's the whole suspension bush kit for the rear laid out. So now the car's in the sky, both the wheels are off both sides, jacked up on stands. So now I might just remove basically everything. So lower control arm, stabilizer bar, trailing arms, upper and lower. Basically take everything off, and then once it's off I can press out the old bushes and press in the new, and then everything can go back inside. Alright, I got a bit of sad news here. Let's just get this push quickly. So yeah, let's start here. The rear stabilizer bar bush. I don't know if you can see, but the ID is wrong, the OD is wrong. So this bush can't work. Rear strut inner. So this is the inner. Here's the inner, which is actually the lower control arm. They're calling it the strut, but anyway. See, the length is right. The bolt hole is right. But this OD and that is not right. This is smaller than what this is. But this OD works that side. No? And that is outer. Then here is the outer. As you can see, there is too short for the inner, and that's right for the outer. But this OD and that OD is also not the same. This one is going to big for there. So this bush, this rubber bush itself, fits there, and this one is a bit too small for there. So it's almost like they swapped these bushes around. So that won't work. So that can't be replaced. But what I wanted to say is that there's nothing wrong with these bushes. It's tight, it's stiff, it's fuss, whatever words you want to use. But there's nothing wrong with it. So it doesn't need to be replaced. Same with these ones, nothing wrong with they calling it trailing arms. But there's nothing wrong with none of these bushes in here. All of them. Even on the trailing arm, which they are calling trailing arm. Even this bush, there's nothing wrong with it. So I'm just gonna take measurements and sizes for all of this, because on these ones it can be swapped. Those bushes can be swapped onto that pins, but lengthwise it's also not the same. So I don't know what the owner's gonna want to do. I already phoned him and told him that I'm gonna put this back as is, because there's nothing wrong with it and these bushes are not the same. So we'll be putting this back, and We won't be doing anything on suspension at the rear. And then I'll just take the car for a test drive to feel exactly what is going on and what needs to be replaced. Otherwise it's just gonna chase our tail. So yeah. As you can see, car's on the ground. So yeah, you can close the door. So I'm gonna go for a test drive and see what exactly is the problem with the suspension, so that we don't run around, like I said, and chase our tail. Good morning. Good morning. And I have a bit of a switch up here for you. The bakkie is in and on stands. Have a look. Do you know what that is? Open up. Right, so have a look-see. Now do you know what it is? It's my clutch slave. Where's the old one? I'm just gonna get the old one quick. For some reason I have no idea what I've done with the old one, but let me just pull this one out. So if you look on the channel, somewhere on the channel, I'm not sure which video it is, I have replaced this before, this piston. This is like I guess a weak aluminium. So, but it only cost like 70 bucks. Well, it is 70, it's not, doesn't cost like it is 70 rand. By Alma's. So it's okay, it's gonna last me another, not sure how long it did last, but anyway, if I do find the old one, I will show you, but that's the new one. And let's just get this in, because I need to get the MPS inside, put it up in the sky again, and I need to remove the torque mount. Remember, all that bushes were wrong, and the only bush that does need to be replaced is the stabilizer bar bushes, which is also wrong. The one that was supplied is wrong. So I'm going to remove the torque mount, which is the mounting, the engine mounting, just the torque one, and then the front stabilizer bar bushes, and then I'm going to have that polished. So I need to still take that off so that I can take it away, and I would like to do that this morning still. I even had a light breakfast. Sorry there, not sorry, but anyway, so that I can get this bucket done, because obviously need to use the bucket to go and take the bushes away. So yeah, let's get done with my bucket, so we can get the Mazda back in and remove that bushes. And then I also need to go and pick up the shocks. So what is finished on this car is the stabilizer bar bushes, the torque mount, and the shocks. So the shocks has arrived, I just need to go and pick it up, and then I have to wait obviously on the bushes to be polished, and then I can install, and then the car will be done. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the slave is back on. I actually forgot about this bracket. I forgot about this bracket. I must just put that bracket back. Anyway, so slave is on, system is blade. I need to put that bracket back, then I can drop the bucky. Actually, let me show you quickly something what dangerous I'm working with here. Check this out. I need a steering rack and wheel bearing. And now check this out. Wheel is straight besides the camber, but the alignment is straight. Maybe just a touch in. Actually no, it's right. So look at this. And nope, nobody's in the bucket turning the wheel. Yeah. And then look here. So yeah, passenger side, it's wheel bearing and the steering rack push that's finished, and on the driver side is the ball joint and the rack end that needs to be replaced. So obviously the push on the rack, it's either I'm gonna have to machine up one myself, well not myself because as you can see I don't have machining tools. But I used to work at the engineering shop, so with the right tools I can do it myself. But anyway, so basically I need to replace my steering rack, wheel bearing, ball joint, and then suspension will be good, and then I also need engine mountings, but I need this in order to do that. So I'm gonna just drop the bucky, take it out, bring the Mazda in, take the stuff off, and then take it away. So let me just finish up quick, and then we can put that Mazda in the sky and carry on. Okay, now that the car is in, let's put it up on stands, remove the wheels, remove the torque mount, the stabilizer bushes, and then let's get on the road, drop that, pick up the shocks, come back, and then yeah, we'll see how the day goes. Okay, so that is the front stabilizer bar or torque bar or torsion bar pushes. It's supposed to be 25mm. The bush itself I get 26mm without torque onto it, without pushing it on both. Same with the back, also needs to be 25mm, and same here I get 26. And then look at the torque mounting without doing anything. Look there, shot. Well, not shot as in quiet, shot as in shot that's finished. The mounting is shot. So anyway, let me take that away quickly so that I can find out when I can get it back. I got a Polo player here. Um, we need to change this car's power steering rack, which was just a steering rack. So I'm a bit delayed with you guys being the camera, because the car is already up on the jack. And by the way, I fixed the 3-ton trolley jack, so now I don't use a small trolley jack anymore. So anyway, the car is already jacked up, and then I realized I did not fetch the camera. But anyway, so it's the steering rack. Not sure what else now again, but I also feel the clutch is very high, so that might be part of it. But anyway, so let me just finish checking up the car and putting the stands underneath, and then I can have a look what's going on. And MPS, you saw I took the bushes away to have it polished, and I fixed the shocks. So the shocks are here. Here's the shocks, both front shocks are there. I'm just waiting on Andre from Poly Performance to let me know when I can pick up the bushes and the mounting, so that I can install that in the MPS, and then the MPS will kind of be done for what it came for. But when you hit boost in the car and the car cuts out, I plugged in the OBD2, and it gave me two codes. One is high voltage on the cam sensor, so I must check if there's any cut in the wiring or if there's any damage to the wiring. And then the second code is saying that the timing could be out, or there's a timing issue, so that must also be checked. So I'm thinking maybe when the car's hitting boost, it pings, or it's giving like a knock, and then the knock sensor cuts the car out. So I don't pick that up though on reading any codes, but it's telling me about the timing and the cam sensor, so I'm gonna check that also out. But this car is still here, so I just need to do this polos, the player, sorry, well, yeah, whatever, the removers rack, so that we can get a new rack, and then I can hopefully Andre will let me know that I can go and collect the poly mounts. So yeah, that was a very long intro, but anyway, let's get into it. And thank you guys. Don't forget, like, comment and subscribe. Lakai works. Let's go. How does that sound? Alright guys, have a look here. Subframe is dropped. A bit of steering fluid still dripping, but anyway, steering rack is now out, laying here on the floor. On the bucket. Fuck. So now what that is gonna go and get the other rack quick, and then when you get back, then we can install the new rack. Alright guys, so I just got back now from what's his name now again, from Poly Performance, Andre. Yeah, Performance Poly. Yeah, that's the actual name of it, is Performance Poly. So yeah, let me just grab it quick. There we go. I made it red just because the car's red. And when the customer said that he wanted black, well, it wasn't specific that he wanted black, but by that time I already said must make it red. But anyway, I got the bushes back. So now I can just install this torque mounting, which they also call the dog bone, and then the stabilizer bar bushes, and then I still need to do the shocks. And then this car will be done for what it came for. Although I want to check out why the car's cutting out, which I think is timing that is out. But anyway, before I even do that car, because this car, come on now, won't be able to be moved because of this car, which subframe is still laying there. So I'm just gonna finish up this car's steering rack, put it back so this car can go on the ground and move out. Then I'll carry on with that one, so that one can also leave. And then the Chrysler, as you saw in the previous episode, that this Chrysler is actually done. But now the alternator, I must just do the alternator as well. So yeah, so this alternator must be done today, that steering rack must go in today, that bushes and shocks must go in today. Then all three of these cars can leave. So we will see how the following week or the rest of the week goes. There is another car that I need to go and check out in Menenberg, but we'll see. So yeah, let's get into it. Update, not so a lekker one this time. As you can see, the car's on the floor, which means it's done. But as we were told, the power steering pump, threw in power steering fluid, started the car, turned, primed, alles, but still not doing anything. So the problem wasn't on the power steering rack itself, it's the actual power steering pump that's not pumping. And the owner said that it was overhauled, then that's why he told us to do the rack. But so now, as you can see, it's dark. So tomorrow we'll remove the pump, strip it, or we'll just put another pump and see. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Good morning. So today we will finally get to the Mazda. So yeah, I'll finally do the shocks and the bushes today, and I just want to be able to remove the. Okay, I'm gonna speak properly. I'm just going to pull the Polo up on the ramp, remove the power steering pump. Then my daddy can go. He can go and get the power steering pump. Then I'm gonna switch over to the Mazda to do the bushes and the shocks. So yeah, let's get going. Okay, as you can see there, left hand side shock, spring and shock is out. There we go. other side. There we go. Yeah, it's the same. Besides this being bent, that's not a issue. So yeah, so now we can just transfer the spring onto the shock, and everything else obviously that needs to go on, like the rubbers, the dust boot, and then I can go back. Alright, here you can see my daddy's busy on the polo, removing the pump. Pipes are off, fluid is drained there. So just removing now the pump itself. So yeah, we're gonna get somewhere today, guys. Well, we get somewhere every day. But yeah, so let me just pull the springs off, put it on there, and put it back. Good morning. So it is the next day. We found a pump for this polo over here. As you can see, it's on the ground. So we found a power steering pump in that shelf over there, and we installed it into the car. The only issue is that because the pump was standing for a while, thinking, look, I'm not sure what it could be, but the power steering is working. Let me just show you quickly what it does. So I think we maybe just need to drive the car, because the power steering pump wasn't used in a long time. So just watch here. So obviously we don't want that, because it seems quiet in a way, but it wouldn't be quiet for when you're driving. So let's say you're driving down the road, maybe you want to do something, take your hands quickly off the wheel and the car say turn on its own. That wouldn't be nice. So it works when you're turning. No matter which way you turn, it's working. But when you let go, it turns both ways. So if you shoot it to the right, it will turn on its own to the right. If you shoot it to the left, it will turn on its own to the left. So my dad is gonna take this car for a drive and see if he can drive that right. And then while he does that, so I took the MPS for a drive last night, and the pushes and the mountings and everything is now sorted. So the car's driving lekker. But now I just want to check the timing on this MPS quickly. So, and I'm using my phone again today, because where is this thing? Because this is again telling me to format the memory card, and all of the other footage is on, so I can't format. I first need to pull that footage before I can format the memory card, or SD card if you want. So I'm gonna have to do the rest of the video on my phone. So let me start pulling the intercooler and the coil packs, and then the tappet cover or the cam cover off, and then we can check the timing. So yeah. So look here now, if the spanner is on the exhaust cam, and when I Might play with the exhaust cam. Let's see quickly. There's no play in it, no? I don't see any play. But when I do it on the intake cam, then look here. And you see there how the teeth is moving inside the links. I just done something a bit dumb. As you can see, the car is almost back together again. I must still put the intercooler on. There's the intercooler line. I had the tapered cover off. So the timing is right. The time is not out. What is the problem is that one of the things is that the owner thought that the chain is stretched. Sorry. It's not the chain that is stretched, it's the VVT gear that is worn. So we need to replace the VVT gear on the intake cam. So we're gonna see if we can just get the gear, or if we're gonna have to buy it a new timing set, which means timing chain, guides, sprockets, tensioner, all of that goodies. So if it is a kit, then it's alright, because then that's the chain included, and obviously what we really need, which is the sprocket. And also while stripping, I saw that here there's two wires, no plug, and it's just push on terminals, and I put this insulation tape on. And that terminals could have been touching each other because it was also loose. So I crimped it a bit more. Wow. Clothes. I crimped it more close so it can have a more firm fit on the actual sensor, because that is the, not exactly sure which sensor that is, but it's on the intake cam. It's probably the, I'm gonna lie, because here's also a sensor on the intake cam, so I don't know if, anyway, there's a bank 1 and a bank 2. So this is probably bank 1 and that's bank 2. There we go, bank 2 and bank 1. And the issues on the sensor that I pick up on the OBD2 reading when I plug the car in, it's on bank 1. So I got two codes, one for the high voltage on bank 1 sensor. So that could be this wires touching each other, and that's why we getting a high voltage reading, or a wire that is not properly conducted or something like that, like insulation that's broken or something like that, which that clearly shows, or to me that is showing that is the problem there. And on the other code it gave timing. So that cam sprocket being worn, it does change timing a bit. It's not a lot, like a tooth or so, but I mean, it's electronic car, so it knows exactly where timing is supposed to be, and that is clearly that timing. With that slop, it's giving, it is changing timing, so I'm not still gonna explain any further about it. So now that wires is now sitting firm on the sensor, and I insulated them so it can't touch each other, so it can't short out or give high voltage or anything. So I think for the high voltage part of the sensor, that should now be sorted. And then when we change the sprocket, and that will sort out the rest. So this car is done, and now we just need to see if the owner's gonna buy the sensor within the week. It's Thursday today, or if he's gonna do it another time. So, but for now, this car is done. I just need to put the intercooler back and it's real done. Then I got a champ also that pulled up this morning. But yeah, when I bring the champ in, I'll show you guys, no? Alright guys, I went to go and cut my hair quick. But anyway, so the MPS is driving lekker. Now with that suspension, it's just now like I explained already, and how many times I want to say the same thing. You know what? I did explain. Just carry on to the new thing. Remember I said this morning that a champ also came in. So here's the champo. Champion! Let me just turn the camera on and show you what's going on with this. Right now. So just have a look here. This is the problem. And you see it's broken off there. Oh, there's a whole stabilizer strut bar. What do you call this bar? Huh? This bar? Okay, yeah, it's a stabilizer bar. There's a whole with a stabilizer bar mounts onto that whole piece is broken off. Yeah, I'm so sorry for this type of update, but I'll still show you. But the bucky's down on the ground. As I burnt me while welding one of the sparks, but anyway, let me just turn the, so yeah, let's see if I can. I know I was, my phone was on charge, so there you can see it's solid. And underneath that crack over there is done, and then in there as well it was bad. I had to fill up holes also. I had to fill holes and all of it. That's why it looks so bitchy, like best word I can use, like a bitchy diver cock. Sorry for the language there, but it looks better in person, must say that though. The camera doesn't show it like what it is there. But yeah, the buck is done. Now I can pull it out, feel how it is, trap hard brakes and check what happens. Good morning. So we finally received the timing chain kit on the MPS. So it looks like today will be our last day that we will be working on the MPS. By the way, I need to show you guys something on an MPS. It's not a big deal, but it is also a bit risky type of engine to work on, because the MPS does not have keyways and dials and stuff like that. If you look inside this VVT sprocket, there's nothing that actually locks this cam gear or the cam sprocket onto the cam shaft. What keeps it in place is the tension of the bolt that ties into the cam. Can you see? So there's the bolt. Yeah, both exhaust cam and intake. The same with the crank sprocket and pulleys. It's only all down on with torque, which is actually not a good design. Well, it works, but it's not a good design, because if it must slip, you can, I don't wanna, I'm sure you know what I was trying to say there, but you can mess up your whole motor just because of that. So make sure you torque down to the specs, because I'm sure nobody would like to work on a motor like this and then just tighten down like they would normally do. and then I have a chain slip, paint valves, brake pistons, and I'm sure you wouldn't want to do that on MPS because it's gonna be quite expensive to repair and to obviously make it back to the way it was when you received the car. So I will not make that mistake. I will talk down to the correct specs. So yeah, let me start so that I can finish up this car today, and so that this car can leave. So yeah. Alright, just got back from Master Parts now, and I've got the proper kit this time around. I checked it there, so yeah. They don't give as much gears or the other gear, but anyway, let's have a look. So there we go. That's the two crank sprockets. That's exhaust, intake, tensioner. That's a guide. That's also a guide, and the chain is there. So now we can start assembling. Alright, so as you can see here, cam sprockets are on, chain is on, tensioner guide, or should I just say tensioner, and the tensioner guide, yes, the actual tensioner, and the other guide is all on. Same with the crank sprocket is on, and new tensioner for the oil pump as well. I couldn't change that one. That bolt was spoiled. That bolt is basically around there. But yeah, so cams is also tight. TDC is in, so now I just need to put on timing cover and then put on the crank pulley, and then we can rotate. Alright, now that everything is sorted timing wise regarding the chain, the sprockets, tensioner, guides, everything is now on. So now I can reinstall the timing cover, which is laying here in the boot. Let's take the mounting quickly one side. There we go. There we go. So here we go. Alright, just gonna give it a clean quick, and then we can install the timing cover. Righto. The timing cover all cleaned up and silicone, ready to install. So let's go install. Alright, so I think I gave the update of the timing cover being on, being in timing and all of that. So now I can basically start closing up, which means engine mounting goes back, because I was wanting to put the belt on now for the power steering, water pump, aircon, alternator, all of those lovely goodies, but the power steering pump needs to go on in order to put the belt on. In order to put the power steering on, the engine mounting needs to go on. So yeah, so I'm gonna install the engine mounting now. Then I can put the power steering pump on, and the motor will be standing on its own mountings, and then you can just finish up. So great stuff. Alright, so engine mounting is on, power steering pump is on. Yo, what's going on in my eye? Water bottle, power steering bottle, our engine mounting is on. So now we're going to cam cover. As the cam cover is on, the coil packs and then everything can be plugged in, and then intercooler, and then it will be ready for first startup. So yeah, let's get cracking. Alright, everything is complete. Cam cover is on. Yeah, everything is done now. Even the terminal is on. So now it's just for first startup. I'm just going through my head, all the checks, everything is on, because I do not want to start with, especially timing wise, well, double, triple, 10 time check timing itself. Everything is good there. Belt wise, don't really need to worry, even if the belt must snap or whatever the case might be, it's accessible. It's right here. But yeah, I think I should give it a start. Let me just check underneath quickly again and make sure. Alright. Just kidding, man. But yeah, MPS is idling. The battery light is on though. Not sure what's going on there. I don't think the battery light was on before. Engine light is also on. So I'll just plug it in and see what does it say. I check it on my phone. I got an app on my phone with the Bluetooth. Where's this thing? With a Bluetooth OBD 2 scanner. Okay, maybe yeah, there we go. So yeah, like I said, it's on my phone, so I won't be able to record. Well, I wasn't recording working in any case, so yeah, let me just check it quickly and then see what's going on. What a simple. Hey, engine light is now off and the battery light is off. So obviously I read the codes and it told me that the airflow sensor and the map sensor, it's not getting a reading. So I went to go and look and I saw that it obviously just wasn't plugged in. I'll show you now. It's an aftermarket K&N filter with the sensor plate welded into. Well, I'll just show you. But anyway, so I just plugged that in, and then no more engine light, no more battery light. So just make sure your plugs are in, especially if you can't check any codes. But yeah, the car started better before I done or before the replacement of the VVT gear and timing chain, tensioner guide, blah 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 blah. The car started like it had a miss. Now the car doesn't start like it had a miss. It's not cold anymore. Well, it's obviously it's during the day, so it's not cold, but it is the first start. So maybe that was enough, being that it's the first start. But furthermore, the car is idling. What's that? 800. Yeah, it's idling at 800. So yeah, so good so far. Now it's just to, I'm gonna let it idle for a while. The fans go on, let it cool down, and then maybe I go and fetch my wife at work as for a test drive. But we'll see, we'll see. I'll get back to you guys shortly, because the car is still in the sky. So yeah. Yeah, pretty smooth, don't you think? Let me switch the camera and show you quickly what I was talking about regarding the airflow sensor. Here we go. So as you can see here, let me come around. I don't know if you can tell, but here's a aluminium block. It was welded into this aluminium piping. So for the aftermarket K&N filter, to still utilize the original sensor. So it's just that wasn't plugged in. It was giving me an engine light and a battery light, but everything is sorted. Car is done. Now I just need to drop it.